Oh, we are in.
Cheers.
It's already started.
Where do we begin?
This morning has not been kind to us.
Mainly you.
Mainly me.
We're sitting very close to each other because Luke's got a new phone and we can't put it sideways. It went...
Wait, what was that?
I don't know. Something's just falling over. So we're very, very close to each other today.
Yes, good old changing from a Apple product to a non-Apple product.
Yes.
We might be going back again at this rate.
Absolutely.
And Katie can't put you on her page either because, you know, Metaverse doesn't like you.
No, doesn't know me well enough, so I'm not allowed. So
this is going wonderfully.
But hey, you get to see more of my painting. That's nice.
Yes, it's
Italy.
so nice.
That's nice, isn't it? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So here we are.
What are you drinking?
I just feel so close to you. Sorry, I've got the giggles now.
Good
what
job
am I
we're friends, isn't it?
I don't know why that's really made me laugh. I've lost it, Luke. This isn't going to be a good one today.
Oh my goodness, someone give her a rich tea, keep her quiet.
Oh yeah, it'll take all the moisture out of my mouth. Because it's the wrong biscuit. Although, we had a discussion, didn't we? Although it was more of me telling you, I had a realisation that Choco Leibniz is just a rich tea with chocolate
that's not what I call them.
No, it's not what you call them. But it's just a rich tea with chocolate on. And that's a mistake because I like them, but I don't like rich teas. So I'm confused now.
Proof that you're wrong.
Oh, if you've just joined, I've just been laughing a lot. Sorry. So yeah, I've got coffee. What have you got today?
Red Bush or Rubus.
Rubus.
We had another conversation about that before this.
Yes, we'll just, yeah.
We probably needed these giggles today, to be fair.
This is true. And breathe into them.
Taking time out. I think that's what this Facebook challenge we're having this morning is telling us to do.
Just stop. Just give up. Quit while you're ahead.
Trot on. Get off. I honoured this yesterday. Mm-hmm. I am in the midst of not having wonderful mental health for the last just couple of days, really. Actually, in hindsight, probably a few weeks now, but particularly last couple of days. And then, so last night, I was like, I'm not going to go to work. And I cancelled my class. And I was like, actually, I got to practice what I preach.
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. And how did you feel when you... It's only because of you. We're really close for you.
Not because we like each other.
Slide in with the cinema. Yeah. So yeah, how did it feel? Just obviously you feel a bit like reluctant to do that, but you need to do it.
You know what? In my head, I'm like, oh my god, all that money I've just lost. I'm stupid. I'm self-employed. I can't afford to do that. But also, I can't afford to get unwell. So there's the phrase, I think we talked about this before, if you listen to your body when it whispers, you won't have to hear it scream.
That's very true. I like that, actually.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
I think there's a lot of us who are screaming at the moment.
Well, yes. Well, hopefully not you, though, because you've recognised that you need to take some time out.
Learnt the hard way, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yes, God. And we talked about burnout so many times on here that, that's what burnout is, isn't it? That's the screaming. If you don't listen, you've got to, and that's the thing, it's a practice, isn't it? Taking time out is something you have to do often, but it doesn't have to be a big holiday. It can be taking a day out of work for self-care. It can be...
Some businesses these days allow you some self-care days, don't they? Or I can't know what they call it, but...
Do they days sometimes, don't they?
Yeah, but some businesses are really catching on to that.
Yeah.
I kind of like that idea.
That's a great idea. I mean, we've talked again before about in the Nordics, they have shorter working weeks at some companies. What a great idea. Because they recognise that actually if you're not there, if you're at home or away, restoring your, mental and physical health, when you come back to work, you're better at work.
Yeah.
That's the whole point, isn't it? Isn't that really the point? You want to be the best version of yourself in every situation.
Yeah. I was listening to a podcast... this weekend when I was driving to Devon for my retreat. It was talking about the working week and how many people work through their lunch breaks because they've just got to get stuff done. You know, things have to be done. I'm like, but the whole point of a lunch break, and the reason that it is a legal requirement, is because we're not designed to just function. We have to step back.
Yes, but how many people don't do it? I mean, I remember doing
Most.
I used to work through my lunch break.
Yeah.
And in fact, there's that feeling, isn't there, if you don't, oh God, I'm the only one that's not, you know, oh, that makes me look like I'm slacking somehow for having my lunch or for having a walk.
How dare you pop to the loo and eat something?
Yeah.
Not at the same time.
Not at the same time. Hopefully not.
Depends how social you are, I suppose.
I'm so close to laughter today. You can't do this to me. I'm just going to laugh my way through.
Oh, look, we've got comments.
Oh, who's
Oh, it's Hayley. Hi, Hayley. Oh, 4-day working weeks. I don't know if it will actually happen, but yeah, nice idea. Some companies might do it.
That would be great. I think it's going to be an individual company thing, isn't it? What a good idea, though. And, you know, actually that's what I'm sort of striving towards, and what my husband does. He works 4 days. And on that 5th day, he just has a time for himself. Well, we have time together, because otherwise you don't have time in your relationship.
No, especially when you've got kids.
No.
And on the weekends, because they're home.
Yeah.
The other thing, I guess, is that you have so much to do. Like, let's pretend you work a 9 to 5, 5 days a week. And you get to the weekend, you've got to go shopping, you've got to do your laundry, you've got to do life admin, you've got to sort out the kids' lunches and everything else. Actually, are you resting? Is there any point for rest?
No, you're not doing it at all.
No.
You know, yeah. And if you want to do other stuff, you know, I've got friends and family members who and I was that same person training, like doing qualifications and courses, and then so you fill your evenings and your weekends with all this doing, which I get, you know, I've been that person, but
What for?
Well, it was useful, but you can't sustain it. I think that's the thing. It's recognising that it's a chapter, and what are you going to put in place to... It's
a chapter, not a habit.
Yeah, it can't be forever.
No.
Or you'll go, absolutely, just go pop. Well, I did.
People do.
That's when my burnout happened, I was studying alongside everything else. It wasn't the studying, it was the combined everything.
I mean, children are a full-time job in themselves.
Gosh, yeah.
Even when they're at school.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got to think tomorrow my children have got a dress down day. Must remember, don't send them in school uniform. I will just be told off. And that's one tiny thing. Lunches, school uniform, ironing, washing, clubs, and then yours aren't at school yet, so you've got all the...
They are.
Well, okay. Yes,
yeah, one's at school. One's at school and one's at the childminder full time. So quite effectively, and actually she starts at the school after Easter. Yeah, but how do you crowbar that in with working and everything else?
Well, that's a good question, because we wanted to talk, didn't we, about how to get away from it all. What can you do when you can't get away from it all?
I think little and often.
Little and often. So
like you say, it doesn't have to be a big grand gesture. It doesn't.
Yeah.
You know, because even when we go on holiday for 1 week, you know, we book a holiday and go away. Do we really relax that much when we're on holiday? Not normally, especially if you've got kids.
Yes, because let's face it, you'll have booked somewhere that's mainly for them.
And then, I mean, by the time you've flown there or whatever, or travelled, and then done the same on the way back, you're kind of limited to 5 days if it's a week. And then you want to do it, so it's, you know, really, and that, even if you did just, I don't know, sit and read a book for 5 days on the beach, that's not going to restore you for a whole year's worth of chaos.
No. It's like I've said before about, you know, brushing your teeth is something you do every day, twice a day. And that means you don't hopefully go to the dentist and have loads of fillings or teeth taken out or whatever.
It's preventative, isn't it?
Little bits every day, and we kind of have to build that in. You're talking about holidays with kids, though. A friend of mine once said to me, when she had a young family, she said, going on holiday is just like being at home, but harder.
That's so accurate.
Because you haven't got all your stuff with you. You haven't got all their toys.
And they're out of routine.
They're out of their
routine. Wound up, full of sugar normally.
Exactly. You've got less stuff.
Yeah.
And you don't know where anything is. Half of it's still at home.
That's so true.
So it's just like you go, oh yeah, holiday. Oh no, it's just going to be
really not.
worse than being at home.
But Sam has said something. I'm starting 9-day fortnights this summer.
Ooh, that sounds cool.
That's
9-day
clever.
fortnights.
I'm interested to know if you can choose those 9 days or if they're a scheduled 9 days. So 9-day fortnight then would be 1 extra day off. 2 days extra off a month.
Don't ask me.
Because you would work 10 days over a fortnight, wouldn't you?
Yes.
So it's 2 extra days off a month.
Yeah.
2 long weekends a month ain't bad, is it?
That's nice. What if we could all do that? The thing is, when, I don't talk much about, like, family and stuff, but I know my husband's work, he's managed to secure his 4-day week, and that's great. He asked, and it happened. And I just wonder how many more people could do that,
Because now, people seem to think that flexible working is still only for, parents with young children, as an example. But actually, flexible working, anyone can apply for now. So I don't know, hot tip if people don't know that. Anyone can apply for flexible working.
Very true. And they have I think they have a legal obligation to consider it.
Consider it, yeah. They don't have to approve it, but they do have to consider it.
They have to actually consider it.
Got to be worth a punt.
Gosh, absolutely. Well, actually, it's discrimination not being able to do it. Why should it just be working parents or whatever who have that right? It should be everybody. For years, I've written about work is an activity, not a location in my old...
Yeah, the box that said work was a thing you do, not a place that you are.
Yeah, exactly. So, ask. So maybe asking what could you do is an important question, isn't it? In trying to
figure out your options. And I think a lot of people, we were just having this conversation before this, are afraid to challenge, are afraid to ask. So what would you say to that?
I'd say you have to sit with the fear a little bit. I think we all feel it to one degree or another. But if you don't look at it and figure out what are you assuming actually that is stopping you, what is causing the fear? If you actually sit with it, you might work out that maybe there isn't so much of a block after all.
It's not actually real.
Yeah. So I remember years ago, my husband did a law degree, and he had some coaching before that with someone who helped him sort of get the courage, I suppose, to do it, because we had a baby and he was working full time, and the sort of the obstacles that came out were we can't afford it, and I haven't got the time. So he sat with those. And actually had a conversation with me, and we talked about it, and we figured out, well, if we do this, this and this, we can afford it. And if you do this, this and this, you have got the time. So it's getting over those assumptions that, I can't, for whatever reason, I can't take time out.
And if you get over that, and you make that decision, and then you think, actually, my employer isn't going to like it, or it's going to hinder my career progression or whatever, my thought to that is, you're in the wrong employer.
I was just thinking that, yeah.
If you're not in a supportive place where you can have open conversations like that without fear of losing something, then it's really not the place for you, is what I would say.
Yes, I would agree. If they're more concerned with the fact that you're a warm body at a desk, for example, than a human being with needs, and they want you there, well, I need you there 5 days. You've got to be there 5 days. Obviously, parking the financial implications of those decisions, let's park that to one side. But, if they're more concerned about that than they are about keeping your talent and skills within the business, yeah. But it can be scary to take that leap, can't it? But there's nothing stopping you from looking, I suppose. Is that just look? What else is out there?
Dip your toes in and just see, like you say, what else is out there.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we just aren't aware of the options we've actually got. We're confined by what we know and the fear of change, I guess. I know that there's this whole thing about the grass is greener where you water it, not always on the other side, but from our perspective, we know that there are challenges with what we do and the way that we've now engineered our lives so that we do have the ability to sit here at 10 o'clock on a Wednesday morning having tea. But the grass is still greener for me. Is it for you?
What, this
No.
side of it?
Yeah,
Yes.
this side.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's that case of we've done our due diligence in terms of can we afford it, what is realistic. We've thought about it, we've made a plan, we've dipped our toes into the options, and we're sat here drinking tea at 10 o'clock on a Wednesday.
Yeah, absolutely. And there will be angst and stress and all the other things that go with it, absolutely.
There's a reason I've got greyer since I've gone self-employed.
But it's good grey.
Yeah.
It's the grey you want to have.
Yes, it's distinguished, apparently. But the grass is greener for sure, I think.
I think so. But that's what our green grass looks like.
That's a good
somebody
point.
else's
That's a good point.
Is going to be different. You don't have to be. It doesn't mean being self-employed is the answer. There just might be a better
other
job.
options. I think we're just talking options.
Yeah,
There are
yeah.
other options more than you realise. I like that concept of what is your green grass. Is that an activity you could do? Could you literally write that down and reflect upon it and kind of doodle and make notes or meditate on it or whatever works for you?
That's really good. Yeah,
What does your green grass look like?
Yeah. Yeah. Is there anything that is green grass for you at the moment? Or are you feeling like you've got your green grass?
I mean, my current ambition. So for me, I've always got something up my sleeve. I'm never content in one place at any one time. So I've got a new version of green grass that I'm working towards at the moment.
Yeah.
I'm in my former green grass, if that makes sense. This was think of it like a stepping stone. Like, I was in employment. In my vision, I was like, if I just was a yoga teacher, and I did that, tick that box. And then when I was a yoga teacher, I was like, if I just had a wellbeing centre. And then I got that, and now I'm in the wellbeing centre. I'm like, if I just had new thing.
New thing.
So I'm working towards that, because for me, I'm always dipping my toes in, and I'm striving for more.
Yes, I think that's for me, that's important. Always have something to strive for, because that's what gives you your energy and your drive, and like, you get up and go. You've got to have something to look forward to. But I think also it sounds like you've built your confidence, maybe.
Oh yeah,
with these stepping stones.
100%. I think each one was absolutely vital. And what is the end goal? I don't know if I'll ever have an end goal.
No.
And why do we need one?
No.
Like, when you go to a job interview, like, where do you want to be in 5 years' time?
That literally just popped into my head. I hate that question. I don't know.
I'm like, and you're supposed to say, I'd like some career progression. I'd like to be in your seat in 5 years' time. That's what they want to hear. But in reality, that's not possible for everyone.
Well, no. And what would the truth be? Well, I'll be here for 18 months if I like it, and then I'll go somewhere else.
Yeah.
So I don't know. You're not going to answer that question, honestly.
I want to be a millionaire in 5 years' time. Screw you all.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to be retired. I'm on the beach, actually, in 5 years' time.
Funny.
Yeah.
It's such a silly question, but there's such a loaded question, because they know what they want the answer to be, and you know what they want the answer to be. So everyone just schmoozes each other and says what the other wants to hear.
I know. And it's a very strange question, because it thinks beyond the scope of the job that you're applying for. And you're kind of expected to say, I want to not be in this job in 5 years. I'm planning on not being here.
Yeah.
Is that how you would interpret the question? That's how it looks to me.
And from from a HR background and a recruitment perspective, I knew what I would be looking from people. I want people that want longevity, that want to strive towards something, that don't just want to sit and be plodders and be warm bodies on desks as such. And so that's what I'm looking for. But actually, there's not always value in that.
No.
You can see people that have been in a business for 20, 30 years, but they're so institutionalised that they've got no idea how it works outside of that. And then they don't always welcome in new people or new ideas, or things get stuck in their ways or stagnant. And so actually, you need a really healthy turnover. So if somebody now said to me, oh, in 5 years' time, I don't actually think I want to work here, I want to go on to somewhere else, I would be like, actually, that's really healthy. Because the days have gone where people sit in jobs for long periods of time. It used to be that you got a job, like you got an apprenticeship coming out of school, and that was your career path until retirement, and it was quite normal. But we don't live in that linear world anymore. We have options and choices and freedom and variety. But we still sometimes live in this linear mindset where we don't explore those things. We think that they're not available for us, or they're unsafe.
Yeah. I think if that's what you want, then that's what you should explore. I think, staying within a job if you love it. I mean, one of my jobs I was in for 8 years, which is quite a long time, really. But there was so much diversity within the job. It felt new all the time. So, just to put a different perspective on things, I think you can stay. And that we need the cogs, don't we? We need the people who are sort of going to do the jobs that, people like you and I want to go off and do lots of different things. We need the other people.
My question is, are they doing it because that's what they want to do?
Yeah.
And if you want longevity and stability and no change, like great, if that's for you, go for it. But if you're doing it because you feel fearful and you're stuck in it,
Yes,
and you think that there are no other options, that's the gritty point.
Very true. So that's all about being honest with yourself and knowing how you feel.
Yeah, because you'll find the person that's been in the business for 20, 30 years that wants to do that will be a great person to work with.
Yeah.
But you'll find the person that's been in the business 20, 30 years that doesn't want to, but is in that role in fear, is the difficult one.
And sometimes a bit toxic, because that sort of frustration and passive-aggressive desire to do something else is leaking all over the place and all over everyone else.
And then
and I've been that person.
Yeah. But then what comes out is, well, I've been here longer, so I know better.
Yeah, this need to justify themselves.
Yeah.
Actually. Interesting you should say that, because I sometimes think a reason why we don't do things and we fear change is because our identity is tied up with a particular role.
That's good, yeah.
And that actually part of the reason that I've been able to move on, and possibly for you as well, is letting go of that part of my identity that I was that person in that job. I think when you identify so much with a role rather than your skills, you kind of feel like you have to do that thing, or that you've worked so hard to get to that place. Whereas if you see life as a series of experiences that have taken you to a certain point, and you disengage a bit from your identity with that, then you can, it's psychologically more easy to move forwards. That's something I would say.
Think there are a couple of things there. I think you and I have done a lot of work on ourselves. So in terms of identity, we have done work outside of the workplace on who are we. So there's that aspect. So we no longer associate ourselves with the thing that we do. And then the other aspect is that we can spend our whole lives building up. I can't wait to boil this down to tarot. The tower card, right? So we build up brick by brick our tower, the thing that we think that we want. I've worked my whole life towards this. This is everything that I wanted. And then you get there and you're like, I don't know if I'm enjoying it as much as I thought I would. You know, and sometimes through stubbornness, we know this is what we work towards. This is what we're trying to achieve. We must stick at this. This is everything we ever thought we wanted. So this must be as good as it gets.
Yeah.
But actually, sometimes the universe has a better idea, and it strikes that tower down to clear the path for something new, something better. And I'm guessing what I'm trying to say is, don't let the universe intervene. Don't, wait for that tower to come crashing down and then everything to feel like it's crumbled around you. You can make that decision before that lightning strikes. Burnout.
Yes, absolutely. But how many people do you know that have? I mean, you and I.
Yeah, we're guilty.
yeah, exactly. And there's part of me that sometimes thinks I had to go through that to be where I am now.
100%, yeah.
But it's not. I wouldn't wish it on anybody else.
It's a parenting thing, I think. It's like you try and teach your children all the lessons and mistakes that you made, so that they don't do them. And it's like that with people. We don't want people to go through what we went through. But actually, you have to go through stuff like that to learn and to grow. Sometimes,
yeah, I think. For certainly, you and I have made the best of it.
Yeah,
I think. But yeah, I think untangling your identity from where you are in the moment is a really valuable thing to do, because it gives you that flexibility to look at, where could I be, and who could I be.
I also think, just a real practical perspective, what are your transferable skills?
Yeah.
People never look at their transferable skills. They think, I've been an accountant all this time, so I can only do accounting.
Yeah.
But actually, what are the things that you do in that role that would be useful in other roles that aren't necessarily that base? You don't have to have identical like-for-like experience to find another job.
No, and it doesn't have to be qualification based.
No.
In fact, when you're talking transferable skills, that's
soft
really
skills.
it, isn't it? You things like how methodical are you, strategy driven or process driven, or how creative do you think, or all these sorts of things. But do you think employers look for that? Do you think they're asking the right questions?
So I used to work for a company where our ethos was recruit for attitude, train for skill.
Okay.
And I really like that. If they have got the right attitude, the right personality, the right fit for the environment, and some transferable skills, then you can train the technical knowledge of that job. And we often would hire on that basis, recruit for attitude, train for skill. And so I think that, and I'm talking about that was 20 years ago, so
So we're in a better shape these days.
I hope that more companies have caught on to that, and more people understand that. And I do often in my career have seen CVs where I think, oh, how did they make that jump? Like, that doesn't seem logical. Or even people that I've come across, but then I think, oh, actually, because they've leaned into their good attitude and they've leaned into their transferable skills, and that's how they've made that transition.
Yeah.
So I used to work with someone who was like a conferencing manager in a hotel, and so she would, effectively manage food and beverage and setting up conference rooms and stuff like that. And then she went and got a job as like an office manager for the council. And I was like, well, how does one relate to the other? Because for me, I was like, at really early days in my recruitment, I was like, I can't see how they would look at a CV and get that you would be a fit for that role. But then it really helped me at that point to understand, okay, because she's a hard worker, she's got a good attitude, and actually she can organise people, she can use, systems and processes effectively, she can follow operating procedures. I'm like, oh, actually, there's a lot of skills there. All she's just doing is learning a different environment. Yeah,
absolutely. You've reminded me, there's a video I watched the other day of a woman, she was on a game show, and somebody said, what do you do? And she said, I make all the blankets sort of stuff that goes on satellites, this sort of metallic blankets.
So niche.
I know, really niche, but she was a crafter. So that was her sort of background. She was a crafter. She was good with all that sort of machining and all that. And so they recruited her. I think they put that in their job advert, that they would. So they were open-minded. They were looking for those transferable skills, because how would you otherwise recruit for something like that?
Oh, love it. That's brilliant.
But we're kind of going off topic, Luke.
We always
what
do.
A surprise.
Always do.
Well, sorry.
So you're looking for an employer that's going to give you less working hours.
Working hours. Yeah. Well, just someone with the right creative mindset, really, to support you as you try to be the best version of you in the workplace, I suppose.
I also think that flexibility has massively increased since COVID.
Yes.
Because prior to that, it used to be, well, you must sit at your desk from 9 to 5. But now it's like, oh, actually, turns out you can work from home and be productive.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we had no choice. And now they've got they can't say it doesn't work, because it does. Yeah. That's wonderful.
And another aspect of working from home is like you could be doing your laundry at the same time, and that's one less thing you have to do at the weekend.
Yeah, absolutely.
Stuff like that.
Well, it is Washing Wednesday in this house. There's lots of alliteration in my life, so I remember, okay, to put the washing on. Washing Wednesday.
I have washing every day.
I know, and I probably should, but if I say Washing Wednesday, I'll go, Washing Wednesday, I need to put the wash on.
Yeah.
So there we go.
More flexibility, more time for... Okay, so let's just circle it back. Taking time out. Top 3 things that you do that aren't like big holiday events to give time back to yourself.
Oh my goodness, top 3 things that I do. You put me on the spot now. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? I combine activities. So you just mentioned the washing. I have to do it. It's really boring, but to give myself a lift, I will say listen to a podcast or music whilst I'm doing it, so I turn it into a fun thing. So finding fun in the daily grind is really good.
So you're inputting and outputting at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very productive. So yeah, dancing around the kitchen whilst I'm cleaning it. Well, I was dancing to the Spice Girls.
Dancing to Spice Girls when I arrived.
This morning, yes, I was. So yeah, exactly. So trying to bring fun into things. It's kind of a Mary Poppins attitude. In every job that must be done, there is an element of fun. Do you remember that? You find the fun and snap, the job's a game.
Can I make a confession?
Go on.
I've never seen Mary Poppins.
Oh, we friends! Oh my goodness!
Growing up, I thought that Bedknobs and Broomsticks was Mary Poppins, but it's not. It's a totally different movie.
Right. You're coming here and we're going to get popcorn and we're going to watch Mary Poppins and you're going to enjoy it.
We've been talking about doing this with a Barbie movie and it hasn't happened yet.
No, it hasn't.
Anyway. Okay, so that was one.
That was one. What other things do I do to get away from it all? Boundaries around like my time with children, especially, and like evenings. Yeah. Go to bed at this time. We're trying to get better at that, so that I have more time with my husband and various other things.
That's why my kids go to bed at 6 and half 6.
That's very good. That's very good. Mine would not let me do that.
Well, they wake up at 5.
Okay, there we go. But you've found what works for you in that respect. So yeah, I would say making fun every day, boundaries around my time. What other things? Also, I guess getting out and making time for myself when I can. So as well as Washing Wednesday, it's Wine Wednesday in this house.
Well, you have Wine Wednesday, don't
I
you?
go out and see my friends on a Wednesday for a drink, and we just catch up. That's our time.
Nice.
What about you? What are your top 3 things?
Well, like you have Wine Wednesday, we have board games Thursday.
Okay.
So
Doesn't roll off the tongue.
No, it's not sexy. Every Thursday night it's kind of a non-negotiable. We have a friend over and we play board games, and that is just a really good social release. So that's good. That's a non-negotiable. I, a bit like you, combine things but in a slightly different way. So I put little chunks of my work into every part of my day that I can squeeze them in, so that I don't feel overburdened with big tasks.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, that's good.
So, when I wake up in the morning and I get in the bath, I will do like 3 things to work in the bath, whether that's send an email or a message or whatever. Normally messaging Katie in the bath. So, I just crowbar little things in, so not everything feels like a big task, so that reduces overwhelm for me.
That's a really good one. I do a bit of that.
A reduction of overwhelm, which is good because I am prone to it. And I also recognise when I just want a day in front of the TV and I just go, fuck it, and do it.
Really good. And you know what boils down, all of that boils down to is self-awareness, isn't it, really? Self-knowledge, knowing yourself and what you need and what makes you feel good and what doesn't make you feel good. And that's worth spending some time on. Why am I feeling this way?
Okay, maybe our next topic needs to be self-awareness.
Have we not done that one?
I don't know, but it could definitely
Comes
go
up all
again.
the time. Let's do it again.
Yeah. All right, there we go.
We can move apart from each other now.
Oh, well, goodbye, everybody.
Lovely to see you.
We'll see you next time.
Ciao for now.